Hello, Shafiq here. Third video of the series. So if you're catching up on this, if you're seeing this for the first time, there are two previous videos that are relatable to this particular series of videos that I'm doing, which is all about dealing with and living with mental health condition and how ultimately I, as just a regular guy, beat it and created a new life, and most importantly, I'm not being stigmatized or with that diagnosis was the person who had mental health. And for those of you who don't know, blow that incense stick away. I am the survivor of two suicide attempts, one in 2006 and one in 2016. And I guess that's why I'm passionate about it, because I have the life experience, the relatability to explain and to give people an insight into what happens and what goes on in someone's mind and way of thinking, that takes us to those places in our mind, most importantly. So today I'm going to be talking about looking out for those signs and how in my way, looking at it now retrospectively, I was falling apart in 2006 when I did it for the first time, or attempted it for the first time, and 2016 when I attempted it for the second time. And for those of you who haven't seen the earlier videos, I saw my actions through on both occasions, but for some reason I like to look at it as the higher source, inspiration, the divine, God, whoever you want to call it, Allah. I can say that because my name is Shafiq and I have a Muslim heritage. It didn't work out. I'm here to help and to guide. And in my day-to-day life, obviously, as I said before, I'm a coach, I'm a public speaker, I'm an author. This book here, There's No Shame. And I help to, I guess, spread the word and empower people and to help people through those trying times. So as I talk about looking for the signs, what was my particular sign, I guess, on both occasions? Now, on both occasions, when I'm trying to do what I tried to do, they were on a Friday, both on Friday evenings, which I guess speaks volumes. I had been within the same company on both occasions, so I was working for the same business. I believe the business wasn't particularly helpful for my mental health. It was very aggressive, it was very dictatorial, it was very productivity driven. But most importantly, I should have, and I could have, I guess, had the ability to say I can't do this anymore. But I guess we don't want to see him as men, do we, as somebody who's struggling in the workplace. So I pretty much just kept working. But as I look back now, and as I relate to it in the book and what I do day to day, the signs were just a sense of desperation. Just the sense that I wasn't matching up. Just the sense that as a man, I was failing. I felt like I was failing. Now, in 2006, it was pretty much, social media wasn't really out there. YouTube was pretty much in its infancy. There certainly wasn't Instagram. Facebook was pretty much on there. From what I remember, it was that school thing, Friends Catch Up or something, which is the big thing that was out there. Friends Reunited, there you go. Where's that gone? That was the big social media thing. So I didn't really have anything to marry up to. I wasn't looking at other people's lives, but I just know through social circles that I wasn't around. I was a new dad. I wasn't there really to change the nappies, to bath my daughter, to help my wife, to go to the play groups, to do all the things that I wanted to do. Because being a dad mattered to me. It was a decision that we wanted to occur in our lives and to start a family, and I just wasn't there. Even though we decided that Shafiq go out and earn the career and my wife stay at home and bring up the children. But the major sign for me was the fact that I was never easy. I was never resting. I would never sleep well. I'd have lots of night terrors. My appetite suffered. My energy levels absolutely flagged. And I was pretty much just consumed with the fear of failing. I was consumed with the fear of failing professionally. I was consumed with the fear of failing personally, in my marriage, in my family life, in my extended family life, amongst my friends. And I mean, that's just down ultimately to that very low mood, to that fact that you feel like that you are just not amounting to anything. The fact that I did go to the GP to say that I was struggling clearly should have rung alarm bells, that I wasn't in a good place, because I'd never gone to the GP for anything before. And I was given antidepressants, and for those that you want to know, I was given sertraline, and I do feel for myself sertraline did work. Obviously not well enough, but for a lot of people it doesn't work. So please be careful if you do take medication. But I was very, very irritable, and the cup very much was half full. I was never a half empty kind of guy. I was never half full kind of guy. The cup was always very much half empty. So I'd always look at the negative things. I'd always look at the worst case scenario. I wasn't very much of a forward thinker outside of work. And my wife would say now, looking back, that I was always very irritable. I was always very, I wasn't good company to be around. I looked at other people's lives. I was pretty much saying, well, how come they've got that good work-life balance? How come they've got the new car, and they've got the holiday, and I haven't got this, and I haven't got that? And I was just angry. I was angry with life. I was angry with everybody else seeming to have that perfect life and not me. Where in actual fact, I did have a perfect life. I have a beautiful wife. I had a beautiful daughter. I still do at the time. I was providing for them comfortably, but that didn't matter to me. But for those of you that can see it in yourself, the fact that you get caught up, or the fact that you throw yourself into work, it's almost like, for me, it was a way of escaping. It was a case saying, I'll put my hand up, I'll work harder, because if I work harder, I'm going to get rewarded. You don't. You actually just get shat on, shall we say, from a greater height. And life will do that to you. And if you haven't got the resolve in you to take those knocks, because you're just exhausted physically through the hours you're working, emotionally through the strain, mentally through what you're thinking about yourself, then you're not going to have the resolve or the gumption to get through this. And when we say looking for the signs also, the 10-year gap from my first time to my second time, the signs were always there that I was going to lapse, clearly. I didn't speak to anybody. I spoke to my mum and dad and my wife and my brother. That was it. I didn't know who to talk to. I mean, back then, 10 years ago, well, for Christ, 13 years ago now, who did you go to? Would you go to HR? Would you go to occupational health? Did you go to the GP? What resources were there out there? There was none from 2006 latterly to 2016. So it was always going to rear its head up, because I was working in the same industry. I'd taken big promotions, crazy hours. We're talking like 18-hour days, so on and so forth. And it was going to rear its head again. 1 in 4 people was likely to suffer from it. I had lived it 10 years previously, so it's always going to be there in the back of my mind, because I never dealt with it, did I? It was never dealt with. It was a case of taking some antidepressants, moving on with your life, going back to work after 4 weeks the first time, and just pushing it under the cupboard. It was like a skeleton in my cupboard that was always there, and it was just a matter of time before it reared its head again. And on both occasions, I said it was on that Friday night where something just snapped in me, and I couldn't do this anymore. I had trying weeks leading up to this Friday, and there I was. And I guess my wife equally would say on both occasions, those weeks leading up to both attempts, I was a flipping misery. I was very hard to live with. I was envious and negative about anybody and everybody. Oh, we're going to see the in-laws. Oh, well, I'd have to go and spend time with them, so on and so forth. I wasn't much fun to be around. And you tend to kind of remove yourself away from people. You tend to exclude yourself. You tend not to be that person. But on the flip side, outwardly, you can be seen to be fine. You can be seen to be effective in your roles in the workplace. The great father, always happy, always joking, always being seen to be there. But you're not there. You're there physically, but your mental mind and your mental state is not there. So those were the signs that I looked for. Anxiety, not sleeping, not eating, losing weight, being angry, being frustrated, going to the GP, staying in the same business that had pretty much broken you in the first place, and just seeing everything as a worst case scenario and being fearful of the future. And those are my signs. And as we speak about the next video, which is going to be about what happened when I had the diagnosis was always going to happen because of how I was living my life. and those signs that were leading up to it. So I look forward to the next video. As I say, please like, please share, please subscribe, please get this message out. It's on the YouTube platform purely just to make it accessible to everybody. But unless I get the likes, the subscribes, the comments, it's not going to pop up when you type in dealing with or struggling with mental health or depression. So it's really important that you all get behind this. And most importantly, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great day. Cheers. Bye.